Hey guys, it's Andy Ellis. It's been a minute, but we are back for another year of the Melodic Noise Insider podcast. We're kicking things off this year with an interview that has been a long time in the making. I've been good friends with the Devon Worley band for several years, and we were finally able to make something happen. This was actually recorded in person at their guitarist Jason Medvik's home studio known as the Bat Cave. He's also the owner of Bigwood Brewery in Vadnais Heights, which you should also check out. I got to sit down for over an hour and a half with three of the four members, lead singer Devon, drummer Grant, and of course Jason. We also had a brief appearance by their manager Jamie, who does a lot of other things too, and their bass player Jay Barr was out hitting the music scene grind. We talked about everyone's music journey, the songs on their most recent record, Burn the Dawn, working with producer Andrew Coleman, who has also worked with Pharrell Williams, Snoop Dogg, and many others, and bringing in longtime Eric Church bass player Lee Hendricks to work on the record, and so much more, even a tease about the next project. This was really fun, and you could see more in-person interviews happening this year. So without further ado, here's the interview. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Melodic Noise Insider podcast, the Devon Worley Band. Guys, thanks for doing this.
Hey.
Happy to be here.
How you doing?
This one has been a long time coming, knowing you guys for a while. Before we start going further, can you guys please state your names so just we know who's talking?
Is this for the record?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm Devon. I'm the lead singer of the Devon Worley Band.
I'm Grant. I play drums and do backups and play trumpet and then harmonica and whatever else they ask me to do.
And tells us to go to bed.
I'm Jason. I play guitar and sing.
And I do actually remember the time that Grant yelled at me too in Brainerd to like get back on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
But so I guess kind of, you know, where I first met you guys is we were part of a thing that's now called the Midwest CMO. And so what I remember is it was at the Poorhouse, and I knew of you guys, but it was Devon and Jason were doing an acoustic version of No Fool. And the only thing I remember is Devon starts singing, it's just acoustic guitar and her voice, and immediately everyone was just blown away. I remember like there was another promoter there, and I just saw him like step back, just like, oh my God. It was just a very, and so, you know, I wonder if we kind of start with, you know, just kind of everyone give a little bit of like your kind of music background and where you're from.
Okay, I'll start, I guess. So I was always a singer growing up. I come from a family of sports martial artists, so they really had no idea what to do with me. And I spent, you know, a lot of years doing all sorts of musical theater, opera, talent shows, singing contests, all sorts of things like that. And, you know, I started playing out with bands in town, just little bits at a time. And that slowly turned into doing more and more and more until it turned into this project.
And you started young too.
I started very young. Yes.
Like you started when you were 11. Is that correct?
Yeah, I started. That was when I hit the bar scene.
So one question I do have is, you know, because you go through opera, you go through theater. Like, what was it about music that kind of drew you to that, aside from the other mediums?
Well, I think everyone in the room can attest that I'm very loud and I like attention. But I don't know. I always loved singing, and I'm not going to lie, I love putting on a show. I love performing. I love the drama. So musical theater, opera, playing in bands, writing, all of that. That was just kind of naturally what I was drawn to. I was doing it anyway, except now I have an excuse.
So Grant, you're next. I mean, how would you?
Well, I answer your second question first.
Okay.
I didn't have a choice. Like, music's just part of who I am. Like, it's just, I just didn't have a choice. My dad was a musician. My mom was also a trumpet player. They both sang in the choir. And so, like, music was just always around in our house. So it's just always a part of me. And from the very beginning, I begged my parents for a drum set since I was probably like 4 or 5 years old. And they finally got sick of me, like, taking pots, literally the old cliche of taking pots and pans out of the kitchen and playing on them in the kitchen floor. So they got me like kind of like an electronic drum set when I was like in the first grade, and I destroyed it within 2 months. And so then when I was on vacation with a friend in like second grade, I came home and that was my first drum set was sitting there in my room. So then after that, it was over. And then the reason I chose the drums, honestly, is because my dad was a guitar player and he had a nephew who was a bass player. And whenever there was a family reunion or an anniversary party or anything, there was always a sing along thing and everything they played. And I looked at the situation and went, well, they need a drummer. So that's what drew me to that. And then my musical background since then is just music in school. I played drums before we had the band option in school. So when it came time for a band option, I chose trumpet because my mom was a trumpet player and we owned one already. So then I started playing trumpet. So then I played trumpet all through school, but ended up playing like drums and guitar in jazz band and stuff in high school because we had a lot of trumpet players. And then I went to the U of M and decided I was going to play in the marching band. For some reason, I thought that was a good idea.
Nerd.
And I ended up being a trumpet player at the University of Minnesota for 4 years and kind of let the drums go for a little while. Then after college, I really missed music, so I got back into the local scene playing drums and did cover bands and whatever. Ended up doing some support of some solo artists, and then had a band, was in a band, had a band, and then all that, as it normally does, comes and goes. And that's when I joined up with the Devon Worley band, and that was 10 years ago. So now we're here.
When you decided to go back to drums after taking that break, did it take you a while to kind of get back into it, or was it a lot of muscle memory?
No, because I was spoiled and I lived off campus when I went to the U. So my drum kit was in the basement of the house that I lived in. So, and one of my roommates, one of my longtime friends, was studying recording engineering. So he had a studio in the basement. So we were always playing and working on random stuff. So I never really left playing the drums. I just left playing them live in front of people. So it wasn't a complete relearning.
Jason?
Hey. Yeah, I got my first kind of experience with rock and roll was my aunt bought me a Kiss record, Kiss Destroyer, and I remember jumping up and down. I was playing it on my Donny Osmond turntable that I had, and I would just sit there and I would jump up and down on my bed to Detroit Rock City, and literally I think that's, kind of what,
Then it was over.
Then it was pretty much over. And then my dad, my family is not really musical. I'm pretty much the only one in my family. That guitar hanging on the wall, my dad actually bought when I was a kid, and he tried to learn how to play it, and it sat with a pillowcase up on top of his dresser. And so I would pull it down and I would play it. And yeah, one thing led to another. I started taking some lessons, and then, did
All
that.
downhill from there.
Well, I was never, a lot of people go through high school and they're, in sports and stuff like that. Well, I sucked, right? So, I was the guy who kept the bench warm all the time.
Right here as well.
Literally,
Same.
no matter what sport I was in, I was the guy sitting on the bench. And I'm like, you know what? I got to do something to get a girlfriend. And so I picked up a guitar and I saved up. I bought my first electric guitar, put it on consignment at the Music Connection in Forest Lake, put it on a 30, 60, 90, and then paid it off over 3 months. They let me take it home, and that was pretty much it.
And so, in funny, you also right after high school, you actually went to play with the Bay City Rollers, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, I was a hired gun. I played guitar for them for nearly 3 years and all over the world. We did 2 separate tours of the U.S. and Canada, the U.K., all over the U.K. I actually lived in the U.K., in England for about a year, and we did Australia. We went through India and Thailand and New Zealand and Tahiti and all of these, Fiji, all these places over near Australia. It was great, man. I got to see the world. It was awesome, and I didn't have to pay for it. I just had to play for it.
Yeah.
So one thing I've always been curious about, because you go from playing locally right up to that level everyone wants to go at, to Bay City Rollers, and then you go from Bay City Rollers back to the local scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are those transitions like for you?
That's an interesting question. I mean, it's kind of how the music thing works. It's like, we've had experience. I mean, we've opened for some of the biggest bands on the planet, and so we'll open for Leonard Skinner one night, and the next night we're in a bar in East BFE somewhere playing. It's just kind of
6 people.
Yeah, I mean, it's right, exactly. It's just kind of it's the same thing there. You have the ups and downs, but until you get to that certain level where it's consistent, we played some great shows with the Bay City Rollers, some amazing shows, huge shows, theaters, and to pack crowds and all of that. And you just have to reframe yourself. But honestly, I think everybody does it. Like after Guns N' Roses was over, Slash went and did club stuff with his band, with Miles Kennedy and stuff, and they played the clubs. I mean, it has to be kind of the same thing. Like I'm in the band that's in the top of the world, and one day and the next day I'm playing the Brick in downtown Minneapolis for 600 people. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that at the end of the day, you just like playing, so you do it. Doesn't matter where you play, you just play.
Yep.
So I mean, I got into this because of just music just only made sense to me just as a writer. For you guys, I mean, do you feel that music hit you differently than it hit everyone else around you? Like, do you think it affects you differently than because someone was just like they'll listen to the top 40 playlist and that's it. Others are kind of they'll consume it like it's part of do you guys think it hit you different than others?
Well, I won't speak for Devon, but I know that we're both, and Jason is too, so don't get me wrong, but we're both very lyrically driven. And so we both kind of have this weird memory of remembering song lyrics from a song we heard one time 15 years ago, or remembering movie quotes, or remembering whatever. And I think that's part of it, is just the way you hear music. Mm-hmm. Some people are more driven by a guitar riff or whatever, and some people are more driven by a hook of a song. But I think for me, and I won't speak for Devon, but for me, it's it's both. It just kind of reacts. The way it reacts together is what makes the magic. And so to your question is, I do think that musicians hear music differently than quote unquote normal people do. It's not a good thing to say, maybe, but if you don't understand what goes into making a record or making a song or writing a song or doing that, it's hard for you to really maybe appreciate it fully of what you go through to do that process. Yeah,
I would say it's almost not even an appreciation. I'd say it's almost more of an awareness. It's something you pay attention more. That's more musicians. I vividly remember still being in a car seat in the back of the car when my mom was driving me around, and I would be singing the harmony parts to a song, and my mom would literally turn around and be like, Devon, you're singing it wrong. And I'd be like, no, I'm singing what this lady sings, and then there's another lady that sings this, and then there's another guy that sings this, and she sings this. I'm singing this lady. My mom was like, God, I've got the worst child. She can't even sing the songs. But I mean, even from a very, very young age, there's a part of your brain, I think, when you're a musician, that you're more aware of what goes into the music just from the start, and it keeps you engaged and interested.
A perfect example is all musicians will know this, and a lot of other people will know this. There's only 12 notes, right? So there's only so many variations and arrangements of those notes that you can do. And Devon and us and Jason and J-Bar and all of us will find ourselves on the bus or in a car or whatever, and we're listening to a song, and then all of a sudden someone will start singing the song that's the exact same chord progression.
Yep.
We do that all the time, and that's a very musician thing.
Yep.
But you that's an example of hearing it differently.
And I should also mention right now that there are a couple of people missing from this interview right now. So we're missing J-Bar, the bass player, who's out doing his own gig right now in the cities. And then we're also missing Jamie, who is the fearless manager and everything else.
Yes, the fearless manager.
The fearless insert title here.
Yeah, she does a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a security guard, booking agency, cat wrangler for the sometimes high ass musician she has to deal with.
And by that they mean high on life, by the way. That's all I'm gonna say. High on life.
Obviously.
Having a great time.
Yes, exactly.
There's no soaring here.
Isn't it legal now?
Yeah. So what do you guys remember about when you started getting into the songwriting part of music?
I mean, for me, it was kind of just a natural progression of things where, especially back when I was doing like song contests and things like that, there would just be an option where you would get bonus points if you sang an original song. And, it was like, okay, well, can't be that hard, can it? And I kind of fell into it.
Was it the Colgate Country Showdown?
It was the Colgate Country
That's
Showdown.
why you beat me. Not only were you a bunch younger than me, but I sang Garth Brooks instead of writing my own song.
Be better. I was 9 years old and killing it.
I think I was about 11 and went with Garth Brooks instead.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it was sort of just I'm a musician. This is something I should be doing. And I kind of fell into it. And I don't think I really fell in love with it until later. Because, I mean, especially when I was so young, I really didn't play any instruments. I didn't know what I was doing. And so I tended to just defer to the adults around me on what direction the song should be going and what vibe we're going for and what the lyrics are and how everything fits together. It wasn't until I was older and I was a little bit more self-sufficient, I would say, that I really fell in love with writing when I had a lot more agency over how the songs were going to go.
Yeah, for me, I honestly, this goes back to kind of my youth and starting to play guitar and, all that competitiveness that went into playing guitar back in high school, right? There was a lot of people who were getting into the guitar and playing it. And there was a lot of great players, guys who were way better than me who could, play Eruption,
Right, yeah.
Oh, you can't play Eruption from Eddie Van Halen. And I couldn't. It wasn't my style. It wasn't my thing, But I just kind of went, what is my thing? I'm going to write songs. And you guys can play all of other people's stuff. I'm going to play my own stuff. And literally the first, one of the first shows I ever did was at a high school variety show where my band played two of the originals that I was a co-writer on. And that was when I was 15. So I've been writing music ever since then. And, literally hundreds upon hundreds of songs and ideas and stuff over the years. It's just been a part of me,
Yeah, I mean, for me, it really the same thing, like when I had my quote unquote first band and I was in 7th grade or whatever I was, 12 or 13 years old, we learned the Nirvana song, because you had to do that. But then it was like, after a certain time, it was like, well, we should probably write our own songs because there were older groups in the high school that were writing their own songs. Right. And I was like, well, if we're going to compete with these guys, we're going to have to write our own songs. And so for me, songwriting has always been I've always approached it from a very collaborative situation, which is why I fit in this band so well, because that's how we write a lot of stuff. Even if somebody comes with an idea or Devon has a lyric or whatever, then we go, okay, let's make it our thing. Let's make it a Devon Worley band thing. And so that approach really resonates with me because like from the first time I started writing songs, I wasn't by myself writing a song. I was with a bunch of other people writing a song, even if it was only 2 people writing a song. I've written songs by myself for special things or for special people or whatever, but for the most part, I enjoy the collaborative part of it.
There's one other thing I got to say, actually, a defining moment for me was back to that Eruption story, right? I couldn't play it. And I was like, I was bummed out, blah, blah, blah. I can't do this, can't play Eruption. And I can't remember who it was, but somebody said to me, yeah, well, you can play Eruption. Great. Write Eruption. And that was that went click to me. And I went, yeah. I mean, who cares if you can copy someone else? Who gives a shit? Like, really, who cares? If you have to come up with your own stuff in order to do it, you just have to. You have to come up with the stuff that people will eventually copy in cover bands, right? For people who can't write. And not everybody can, and it's just one of those it's a different way of thinking, and there's nothing wrong with the people who can't. It's just I just prefer writing our own stuff. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you, Jason? When you played those first two original songs at that variety show, do you remember the crowd reaction to those songs?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. It was fun. I mean, but it's high school, and of course, everybody loves the band, that whole thing, and it was great because I didn't get cheered for playing basketball or playing football or anything like that. So, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I still remember, like, because I played sports too, and I just recently I realized that the most exciting part for me of playing sports was the day we got the uniforms, and that's it.
Yeah, picture day.
Like the hats.
Picture day.
Got the hats. I'm like, I'm fine. Especially got the real hats. What do you guys remember about your entry into involvement into the Minnesota music scene?
Oh, I definitely had a difficult entry onto the Minnesota music scene. But to be fair, when I first started, I was 11. My mom was calling musicians and going, "Hey, my daughter wants to start a band, and I promise she's really good." And, there was that layer of...
She wasn't lying.
She wasn't lying, but...
Just sell that to somebody. Sell that to a promoter, yeah.
Sell that to a bass player.
Right.
Like, no, I promise we're going to make money because my 11-year-old daughter, she's quite good. That was a difficult hurdle that the only thing that could fix that was time. We just had to keep working, keep grinding. We literally, from the time I was in 8th grade, basically till I graduated high school, every single weekend was booked. Every single show that we could get was booked. We were calling places. Jamie was calling places and working 24/7 to just get dates on the books, just so we keep our band. Because we were like, if we're not making money, if we're not out there and we're not hammering and we're not really grinding, these musicians are going to find another band to work in. Because this is already a hard sell. So, of course, then we have the added layer of now we're working every single weekend. And other bands in town are realizing that there's a 12-year-old girl that's getting booked at the show that they've been playing for 10 years. And they're not. And so that added another complicated layer to my entry into the music scene. And it really just took putting in the years of being around and showing people that we weren't going anywhere, that we were serious, that, it wasn't, it wasn't a Disney Channel show happening on stage every weekend. It took us a long time to be, I think, seen on equal footing as everyone.
I guess, for me, it was really post-college, like I said, coming back in and kind of getting into playing drums. I was already based in Minneapolis at that point, having graduated from the U, and actually started playing with, at the time, my cousin had a band, just a country cover band, and I kind of started with them, and then moved on to another group, and then ended up kind of backing a solo artist, and it just kind of, once you're in the wash, it just kind of keeps going. And the same thing as what Devon was saying is, like, it's just longevity of being around, so for, I was with the solo artist for a while, and then I ended up, in a what at the time, where maybe it's still called a share band, where everybody's part owner and everybody contributes. There's the books are done a certain way and things are done a certain way. And then that kind of folded, and then a couple of other musicians and I decided, let's do our own thing. We're going to do it differently. We're going to treat the business differently. And so we created our own band, and we ran that for probably 4 or 5 years. And in that time, we played a lot. To your point, it was just like we were on casino circuits where we were doing, Wednesday to Sundays, and then we'd be back in 6 weeks doing the same thing at that casino, and then next week we're at this casino, and then another casino, and then street dances and this, and we were just constantly playing, and we ended up getting the opportunity to do the K102 like Wednesday night thing at Toby Keith's at the time. And so then we're playing every week on Wednesday at K102 at the K102 thing, and so that was a big hub for musicians. Everybody would come out.
I miss Toby Keith's.
People would come up and play. Like that band was also very loosey goosey. We would try anything, so we would bring people. Oh, you're a fiddle player? Yeah, come bring your fiddle up here. I don't care. Like we did all kinds of that stuff. So that made me meet a lot of different musicians in town, and it's just being around. It's just sticking it out, staying with it.
My entry to the Minnesota music scene was when I met Devon.
I mean, what about Parrish? You guys were
Parrish. Yeah, we played around here a little bit. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I guess you're right. I forgot about that. I had a funk band. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that one. But I guess really, really in the Minnesota music scene and meeting a lot of different musicians was getting in the Devon Worley band back in long time ago.
Well, I'm on 10, so you got to be almost on 12.
Yeah, it was 2014, beginning of 2014. So yeah, 12 years. Yeah, but we played so much with Parrish. We would play a gig here, play a gig there, play a gig here, play a gig there. We were road dogging it.
Oh my God, we were grinding.
Weekend. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, sometimes Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, Worley Wednesdays. And then, it's just, it was like we went and went and went and went. And that was years of that. Mm-hmm. And now we tour a little bit more like traditional artists do, where we do, we go out for a few weeks at a time, and then, except in the summer, we go out for a few months at a time, and then, and then kind of come home and do that. But it was really interesting, to meet a lot of the musicians who would come to our shows and stuff, because I was just not immersed in that scene until I met you, Devon.
You're welcome.
Jason, can you talk a little more about what Parrish was?
Parrish was an all-original funk band that I was in with a drummer named Scott Tate, a buddy of mine named Milo, and then another buddy named Alex, and he now works for Guitar Center in Texas, in Austin, Texas is where he lives, outside Austin. And then later we got this bass player, his name was Twig, and he joined us. He was like 17 or 18 years old, and played with us for a couple of years, and it was fun. I mean, that dude was pretty crazy at that time. It was pretty fun. And then he went on to actually, after Parrish kind of disbanded, he went on to play with Pharrell in NERD, and the next time I saw Twig, it was on the Super Bowl pregame show, and I was like, there's Twig, which was really cool to see my buddy, playing for such a big band. But
I know that guy.
But that all happened because of Parrish, and we had a couple of, relatively decent things happen during the course of that band. We had a kind of a production deal with Paisley Park Records, so there was like a 2-song or 3-song, I can't even remember, demo that they produced for us. And it never really went anywhere, but, got to record over there and, at Paisley and stuff. And so it was a cool band. Great funk band back when Minneapolis was really funky, so
True.
Yeah. But we played like Fine Line a lot. We played Caboose a lot. We played, a lot of those old clubs. Some of them don't even exist anymore.
What was the place downtown? It obviously doesn't exist anymore, but it was like right on the river. And there was like a big complex. Did you guys ever play there?
Oh, Mississippi Live?
Yes.
Oh my God. We were kind of a house band then.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we played a lot of shows at Mississippi Live. That was insane. Like,
It was like 10-cent beers or something, like craziness.
yeah. And then they had a gyro thing in the middle. So you want to talk about a vomitron, man. People would be drunk off 10-cent beers and go get on this thing that,
Right.
flipped around, puke all over. It was great.
One question I have for both Jason and Grant is, when you get into an original band, it takes a lot of time to essentially make it, worth all the effort. What was it about this when you met the Devon and the Devon Worley band that said, hey, this is like going to be worth our time you put into this?
Well, I won't tell the long story, but I met Devon kind of inconsequentially. I knew of the Devon Worley band because I had at that point been on the scene for a long time, and that's when you guys had been grinding for a long time. So that was, we knew of each other, I guess, at that point.
I saw your posters at like every single bar that we played.
Right. Same. When they spelled your name right and when they spelled your name wrong.
Oh
we
my
saw
God,
them
all the different iterations.
But so, it was more of a thing where I was coming off a project that we didn't write anything. We didn't do original stuff. It was strictly covers. It was strictly whatever. And so getting back into writing was very intriguing to me. At the same time, I met Devon. I don't know if you've met her, but she's a pretty captivating person.
A little bit. A little bit.
And also she can sing her ass off. So it was an opportunity to, get into a project that was, well represented, had a good thing going, had, was going to be an opportunity to write original songs and record and kind of get back into that part of what I had not been doing for a while. And with a dynamic front woman that can just, can control the room and bring the freaking house down. Like, how could you not want to jump on board?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with that. So I got invited to see the band for the first time at Doc's Landing in White Bear, which is right by here. It's not far.
I remember that show.
And it was right about Christmas time. Mm-hmm. And maybe a little before, or maybe it was in between Christmas and New Year. It doesn't matter.
Place decked out.
Yeah, it was decked out, and I remember Adam, the bass player at the time, wearing a Santa hat, and then he switched to a gorilla claw or some kind of gorilla.
Oh, the bear hat.
The bear hat, yeah. So I went. A buddy of mine who was in the band at the time asked me to come out and see the band. I knew he played in it, and I was like, yeah, okay, that like. Probably like your experience, Dev, okay, a 15-year-old girl, okay, I'm sorry.
It's also the musician experience of, hey man, come out to my show.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
But I was like willing to support and go out, and he's like, hey, by the way, you want to learn a couple of our songs and come and sit in with us? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Blah, 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 whatever. Well, I remember going to the show, and I remember it was only a song or two in, and I was just like, whoa, okay. That's pretty damn good. I wasn't expecting, I think that's a lot of what we get or what we got a lot of times because, but I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And then I listened to your records, and I was like, okay, she's doing original music. That's what I want to do. And so it was a pretty easy thing after that for me because, we kind of paired up shortly after that. I think the guitar player was leaving the band and it was like, you want the job or, and I was like, yeah, I want to be in the band. I can't remember exactly how it works. Something like that anyway. And
you came out for an audition, quote unquote, where you literally just sat and we had beer and we chit chatted for like 2 hours. And then at the end we were like, all right, sounds good. You're hired. And then you went, wait, do we want to play anything?
Yeah, I was kind of like that, but, no, it was fun. I mean, and it's been great ever since. We have continually written, and honestly, we have, oh God, I don't know. We have probably 100+ songs, honestly, that we've written. in various
Stages.
Well, there's a lot of finished material, but some of it you just kind of go, yeah, I don't know, maybe we
not be right.
Might not be right, yeah. But no, I love it. That's what I mean. We're sitting in the studio, which obviously we're working on our next project already, and so we never stop writing. It's constant.
So let's kind of fast forward to your most recent record, Burn the Dawn, which is available physical copy only at shows right now, and then you're releasing singles one by one. Start with Light Up and Down, and then it was Up on the Mountain, Someday Soon, and then now just recently Where the Wind Blows.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about like what the goal was with this record? Are you guys like hey, we got something to say, or is it more like we gotta get music out again?
Both.
Yeah.
I mean, I think especially this far into playing together and writing together, especially, that I think all of our albums, whether they're concept or not, they've got enough of our fingerprints all over it that they all say something. So, we're always adapting and we're always evolving, and our sound is always rounding out more and more, and our writing style is always kind of grounded in that. But I think we just, like Jason was saying, we write so much and we're constantly adding on new things, or changing how we play an intro or evolving stuff, that eventually we just go, all right, we got to get this recorded. We got to get this one done. This one's got to be in the hopper. We got to move this one along.
And, part of it is, to your point, like, you have to stay relevant. You have to be putting out music. And so Burn the Dawn is kind of our first exercise in adapting to more of the current music climate, on which, you got to be releasing stuff constantly. And it's really hard to release a new album every 3 months, but you can release a new single every 3 months. Like, that's kind of how everybody else is doing it. So that's kind of our first foray into doing it that way. And that's kind of our approach probably to this next project that, like Jason said, we're literally in the studio right now. We were just cutting drums and today. So
40 minutes ago.
So that's kind of our way of shifting gears a little bit and adapting to how more of the modern consumer is consuming music. The TikTok stuff, you gotta have something new constantly coming out. And so to your point, Jason, it's not that we have a lack of stuff in the hopper. It's just the approach of how we put it out and how we do that. And that's part of adapting to what's going on.
Yeah, the whole social media thing and this whole TikTok, gotta have new stuff all the time. It's freaking exhausting.
Oh, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta stay on it all the time and try to stay as relevant as you can. And we're still an indie band, right? Mm-hmm. We're not signed to a major label, so we as Devon so eloquently says at every show we do, we're an independent band. We make our own music, we book our own shows, we drive the bus if we have to. We, you know what I mean?
Yep.
All of that stuff, and so you in order to make it, not I don't know what we're exactly, if we're looking for a record deal, because there's a lot of successful indie bands right now that are doing a lot of great things, and without a record label, but yeah, it's just I don't even remember what I was saying, man.
It's a shift from the days of go to the studio, record a record, and then tour on it all summer.
Right.
You can't do that anymore.
No. You can't.
It's just different.
Do you still, when you're recording an album, do you still approach it the same way for if you're just recording an album, or do you approach it differently because it's kind of more single culture now?
I think we still approach it like we're making an album.
I agree with that. I think we do, even though it's singles, you still approach it, because every album is a snapshot in time, Mm-hmm. So it's like, I've always viewed it that way. It's like you look at some of the greatest records in the world, and an artist like Billy Joel or whatever might do this particular piece of music, this album at this point in his career, and the next album is completely different. You know what I mean? Because that's the snapshot of that particular time. So I don't know. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
No, you're right. And to that point, it's like we're talking about how we're going to release this record.
Play something from The Stranger.
Yeah, you son of a... You set me up for that so hard, and I resisted it so bad.
I was freaking waiting for you to say it because it's sitting right there.
Literally a stack of records right next to the couch over here. The Stranger is right in front. Yeah. Anyway,
that was so hard.
As we're talking about how we want to release this record, we're also talking about, okay, once it's released, then it will be packaged as a record. So we still approach it as like, these are a group of songs that go together.
So this record was produced by Andrew Coleman, who he's worked with Justin Timberlake, Ludacris, Beyonce, like the who's who of pop music nerd. How'd you guys get involved with him?
That was actually through my connection with Twig. Andrew Coleman produced all of Pharrell's early stuff and NERD, and worked with Snoop Dogg and all of those guys. And when Twig came back and started playing bass for us, he recommended that. We did a cover of the Immigrant song from Led Zeppelin, and he suggested that Andrew mix it for us. And so we started working with him on that, and it came back great. And he was really fun to work with. Yeah. You know, he's a super cool dude. And he just made the recording process really fun for us. But that all came from that connection, which goes back to Parrish.
Exactly.
Okay, Minnesota music scene. I'm getting it now.
You're getting it.
I would just say that, like, the other part of that experiment, not really experiment, but exercise, was like, we had been kind of in the Nashville thing, which we fit there a little. It's not quite our wheelhouse. We had worked with Nashville producers, and we just thought, let's try something different for this record. And so when we did Immigrant Song with Andrew, that was kind of the opening of the door to like the next project of like, well, maybe he would want to be involved in doing that. And for Immigrant Song, can't remember if that was the dark times where we couldn't see anyone or not.
Yeah. Yep.
But we recorded that all here, and then we just sent it to him, and he like did his, post-production magic on what we sent him. But for when we did Burn the Dawn, we actually brought him here twice for 2 separate weeks and had him living here in Jason's house with us. And had him at the desk doing the mix engineering and then doing all the post work on it too. So that was a different kind of experience of working with Andrew, was actually having him with us. But to your point, that was also learning that he's a super fun guy to hang out with. Super cool dude. Lots of great stories.
Oh yeah.
When you have Snoop Dogg in your phone, you got good stories.
Yeah. When you could pull up contact for Snoop Dogg, I was like, hey, send that to me, man.
We were sitting in the garage, and he pulled it up to show us, and all of us were like, call him. Do it right now. Call him. You won't. Press call.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you guys kind of talked about already, but like, what was it like working with him in the studio in terms of working with you guys on the record?
I honestly thought it was a great experience. I mean, you work with different producers and work with different engineers and stuff like that. Everybody has a different style. Everybody has a different way about them. The experience is absolutely fantastic. It's like sometimes there's tension, and sometimes tension makes great albums and great records too. You know what I mean? It's just, you never know what you're going to get. And with Andrew, it was just did he push us? Oh yeah, he pushed us, but he pushed us in the right way. And it felt
motivational.
Right.
Motivational pushing.
There is definitely a emphasis on just messing around, where it would be
trying
like,
different things.
Let's give this a shot. Let's see how this sounds. I spent an entire afternoon with Andrew when we were working on Light It Up and Burn It Down. And I was just stacking harmonies for like an entire afternoon. If you listen to the bridge, Light It Up and Burn It Down, I'm singing opera.
Or One
in
and
the back.
Done.
Yeah. Or One and
The
Done.
layering of the vocals in One and Done it's insane.
Yeah.
It's like doing that live almost sucks because it's insane. But I was just going to say this to both of your points. This was our kind of first opportunity because we're in Jason's studio, which by the way kicks ass.
Yes, it's a very nice studio.
Thank you.
But we brought a major engineer and producer into our studio, and that meant we weren't looking at the clock. Like we were looking at the calendar,
Right.
but not the clock. When you're under the mic in Nashville, you're looking at the clock. You're looking at the second hand of the clock.
Right.
So we were able to try some stuff. Oh, that snare, maybe not the right thing. Let's try another snare. Hey, Devon, let's do this. Let's try that. Let's, it was just more of maybe the fun
Yeah.
of making a record that we kind of had gotten away from because we were just so focused on execute.
It was all business.
And that was kind of our first, since I've been in the band anyway, our first foray into having it on our own time and being able to have some fun. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
And another aspect was that you guys had a bass player by the name of Lee Hendricks play on the record, who is the current bass player for Eric Church. What was that like? How'd that happen?
I don't even know if I can explain
Honestly,
this. It was amazing. Lee is such a freaking cool dude. The band has a friend. His name is Jeff King, and one of my favorite people on the planet. He plays for Reba McEntire. He's played for Brooks and Dunn. He's now with Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I just learned that actually.
Seriously?
Yeah, so he's a very, very good friend of ours. And when Lee moved to Minnesota, Lee's been playing bass with Eric Church ever since he started. And when he moved to Minnesota, he introduced us. Jeff introduced Lee and I together, and it was,
Here's a guy you should
here's a guy you should know. And we became friends. And, my wife and I went out to dinner with him and his wife at the time, Molly, and we just got to be friends. And I was like, hey, would you ever consider playing on? We were in between bass players at that time.
That was right before we hired J-Bar.
Yep. It was right before J-Bar came, and he played on a record. He's like, yeah, I'd love to. That'd be great. And I was like, cool.
Hiding the childlike whimsy and ecstaticness in your body.
Yeah. I'm so totally normal about this. That's chill. Like,
Honestly, being a drummer and the whole rhythm section thing, it really kind of blew my mind, to be honest. I mean, it's so funny because Lee and I, just to give people an idea of the way that our studio is laid out, like a lot of times when we're tracking drums and bass, we're together in one room and maybe Jason is in another room and Devon might be in a vocal booth doing, vocals. So me and Lee hung out a lot, while we were tracking. And also a lot of what a lot of people don't know is when you're cutting a record, a lot of it is just sitting there waiting
oh, yeah.
while the engineer's doing something, moving a track or doing a different thing or doing a thing or doing an edit or doing a whatever, and you're just waiting. And so Lee and I were talking, and we realized that
or the engineer's going, what the fuck? What's going on? What's happening?
Why isn't
this working?
Jinx. Anyway, so we realized that I had actually opened. I was in a band when I was with the solo artist that I mentioned earlier. We actually opened for Eric Church in between the Caboose and the Joint in like the parking lot.
That show that was like 30 people?
Yes. Like when Eric Church was just coming on the scene, and I told him, I remember very vividly that you guys were so nice. All the band was super humble, and they were, it was great. So we just kind of had that weird moment of like, oh, okay, yeah, we met each other however many years ago. But he obviously clearly listened. If you're a bass player, listen to that record. He's all over the thing. Like it's insane player.
And he was just the coolest dude. Like when he was here, he sat in the studio, he listened to everything. He'd like toss out ideas, he'd toss out chord changes. There was at one point, I can't remember what I was singing, but I was standing outside and I'm facing the window into the studio. And all I see is him standing there and he just did this. And he just nodded his head, like crossed arms. And like he would just make faces at me too, where I'm in the middle of singing and I'm taking it seriously. And he would just kind of poke his head around the corner and look at me and I'd be like, okay, I have to stop.
It's also like one of those things where, again, Devon's in the other room cutting vocals. And so Jason's in a chair and Andrew's in a chair at the desk. And me and Lee are sitting on the couch that you two are sitting on in the back of the room. And Devon's just in there just doing her thing. And he would, at multiple times, he would just look at me and go, wow, what, wow. Like and for someone that is on stage with Eric Church, however many nights a year, to go, holy smokes, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for that, but that is cool.
No, you weren't. I was. It's my memory. Don't steal it.
Okay. I'm just going to dream about it later. Don't worry about it.
So now getting into the record here finally. But yeah, so the first song is Light It Up and Burn It Down.
We're about to light it up and burn it down. Oh! Feel the steps as we roll in. Let the chaos start to spin. Feel the charge that's in the air tonight. That storm's about to hit. No time for condemnation. I am that conversation. Cultivated a reputation for being the one thing this place was missing. Turn me up, I'm ready to roll. I wanna shake me loose and lose control. About to light you up just to knock you down with a warning for your tail. We're about to light it up and burn it down.
And I think it's a great album opener because it really sets the tone, especially like the guitar and the drums, really kind of that raw feel. That's really cool. And then can you talk about this song and how it came about?
So when we were working on this record, obviously we had a limited amount of time when Andrew was going to be able to be here. And we had all sorts of songs kind of up on the chopping block that we were looking at and what we were going to go with. And we had our schedule completely ironed out. But like 2 weeks prior to Andrew coming in, we had written Jason had written the guitar part for this song and we had just messed around with it at rehearsal. We had one verse and one chorus and I sang that twice and we didn't have an ending. We didn't have the bridge. We didn't have anything. We were just messing around. And literally one night, I think it was the first night that we were here, we went down to the studio and Jason was like, hey, Andrew, listen to this. What do you think about this one? And Andrew was like, oh, I love that, man. I love that. Let's do that one. And I had to leave the next day at like 1 because I had music lessons that I was teaching and I had to leave and come back later. And so I woke up in the morning and Jason and I went down into the studio and we like story mapped out the whole song. And then I left and I was like, okay, I'll work on lyrics. You guys work on music. I left and the entire time I was teaching, I'd be like, yeah, your C chord looks great. Okay. And then I'd be off on the side writing lyrics down in my phone and I'd be like, yeah, do that again. Nope, just try it again, but better. And I'd be writing in between, like saying stuff to my students and in the car with voice to text on my drive back. And I came back and they had finished the entire track. And we recorded the entire song in one day. It like from the origin of it to it becoming a full song, it happened in one day.
Yep.
That was the most wild experience of my life.
And to your point, it's a great album opener. It's also a great show opener.
Yes,
and we used it
is.
for a show opener for about a year after that.
Yeah.
So one question I have regarding the first verse is very kind of a day by day POV lyrics. I mean, is that something when you're writing those lyrics? You know, granted, you had almost no time to write them, but like, do you have to like think, hey, what am I thinking when I get up
Yeah.
Is that what?
That's what we did when we came down to the studio, Jason and I, because I had completely different lyrics for the chorus and for the verse that I had sang originally. And we were trying to like come up with some ideas. And Jason was the one who said, okay, what if we make this a literal start to finish of what an average day is like on summer tour? So we started off where we were literally like, okay, what do we do? First thing we do, wake up, get dressed, go get a Bloody Mary, wander around town, cup of coffee and Bloody Mary.
Ibuprofen.
Yep, and some ibuprofen. Andrew made fun of me so much for that. It's on the record because I call it ibuprofen, like ibuprofen. And he literally stopped me and he was like, "Do you mean ibuprofen?" Like butthead. I was like, "Nope, I'm saying what I'm saying." But we literally like wrote out all of the minutes of our day where it's like, okay, get up, go get a Bloody Mary, a cup of coffee, wander around, kind of wake up and become people again. What happens next? All right, load in and sound check. That's the second verse. Then what happens next? All right, then it's showtime. That's
House
the bridge.
lights down. I'm ready to go.
And on top of it, that song is the fastest turnaround we've ever had for a song before. And every single verse and every single chorus, the lyrics are different. Mm-hmm. So I literally had to write like
you Eric Churched it.
I Eric Churched it. This is drink in my hand. Exactly. Every single lyric in that song, there is like hardly any actual continuity in repeats with that.
100%.
And so I'm literally driving and I'm voice to texting myself like, okay, lyrics for the third chorus and like trying to get it done. But we story plotted it and I had that piece of paper from the notebook with me where it was like, okay, what part A, intro, part B, you know.
Yep.
And I love playing that song live. It's so fun.
I love it.
Because the musicians listening will know it's like it's a different kind of a vibe. That guitar part's kind of got a kind of a push pull thing going on in it, and then the drum groove and the bass groove is like it's doubled in the like hi hat, but it's like halftime in the kick and snare. So it's like everything is push pulling on itself, but it works.
I agree. It's a good song.
So the next one is Tea Time for Thieves.
Blood on the moon. Can you see it? They're calling your name. Can you feel it? Time to let it go. Into the mist, you're losing it, choosing it, try to resist, but the muse as it hooks in you. And it pulls you in. Inviting to lighting, there's no point in trying. Once you get a taste, you'll be dying to be let in. And it pulls you in. So cover your eyes, child, you're not meant to see the chaos and beauty. The tea time for thieves. Come on now.
And my favorite part about this song is that T, that like it's just it hooks me right away. But my first question about that song is the intro. Is that a guitar in the intro? Like there's this kind of this fade in. Is that a guitar?
Oh
part?
yeah. Yeah, it is. I don't remember how I did it. I really don't. But you know, everything. You know, I very heavily influenced by riff writing and stuff like that. So, you know, those kinds of things. That's where that kind of groove for that came from, and you know, the intro and I think what you're referring is that like reversed guitar almost intro thing. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember exactly how we did it, but it turned out pretty cool. And then it goes into the main riff of the song. But yeah.
So, and the thing is that this song actually, it's also the title of your record before Burn the Dawn.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
And so I like, can you kind of talk about where the idea for the song came from?
Honestly, I don't.
it was it was on my list.
Yep.
I keep a running list of weird ass thoughts and ideas that I have, and one of those on that list was Tea Time for Thieves, I think.
Yep.
And you just kind of, you always said, I like that line, I want to write something to that, and I think we finally did.
And it kind of emulated from what happens after. It's kind of like what happens after Light It Up and Burn It Down.
Yeah.
It's like what happens when everybody's gone. That's Tea Time for Thieves. It's when it's just us. It's when it's just the thieves. It's when it's just the...
And our tea time.
Yeah, whatever you want to call your tea.
Crumpets with criminals.
Crumpets for criminals, whatever it is.
And that's the next album title.
But that was kind of the vibe of it, was like, okay, after the show is over and it's just your people, that's Tea Time for Thieves.
The next one is probably actually my favorite song on the record, Where the Wind Blows.
Rough riders on the gray wide open, chasing fortune on an endless sky. Take heed, we hide in the moonlight, stealing silver from a dead man's eyes. Stealing silver from a dead man's eyes. I'm sympathetic and danger wise, into little fear and too much pride. Call it chaos or call it salvation, forever chasing that damn horizon through the rain, through the cold. With the devil at our heels, couldn't ask for more. Abandoned brothers, they follow the call. Running, running, running. Where the wind blows.
It's the newest single out. So one thing I liked about this is the slow build intro. It's I swear I'm a professional here. But no, so like, because I know that it actually, if I remember right, the opening riff actually came from, it was like a slow down Stone song, but to me it actually reminds me of AC/DC. Like, where did that opening riff come from?
Well, it came, honestly, I
I've
don't
never heard anybody say that before, but now that he said that, I'm like, it's kind of like a variation on For Those About to Rock, but completely different.
Yeah.
For those who
Yeah.
are done with rocking.
Yeah, I honestly, I come up with so much stuff, honestly, and that, I think it was one of those. I remember when that song came together, it's some gig up in northern North Dakota. It was like 20 below zero. We were playing this club, and I remember at sound check, I was like, "Hey guys, I got a riff," and I started playing that, and we kind of brought that whole song together in that club that day. If I'm remembering this correctly,
Then it sat for a while.
but then it sat for a while. But yeah, I mean, it was just one of those that, I had this idea. I've always wanted this thing to start really kind of slow and, and kind of omniscient. What is that? Is that the word?
Ominous.
Ominous.
There we go. I'm a lyricist.
Yeah, ominous, right?
Hey, I can't talk either.
I
So.
know. I'm an idiot guitar player.
He was over here omniscient.
Yeah, so it's very ominous and build into a frenzy. So how if you listen to the intro to the second verse and the chorus, and then all of a sudden, it drops out for the guitar solo, but then it builds that guitar solo back up again, and then it drops off again.
It's a roller coaster
So
ride.
it's a roller coaster ride, and that's definitely what I wanted to do with that song. That's what I wanted to do musically, and then Dee put her magic on it. So.
Well, what's really crazy, like we were talking about how we are always writing, and there's so much stuff that we haven't done anything with yet. But I mean, they always come around when it's the right time. Because that first verse, actually, Adam is the one who wrote the first stanza of that first verse. And he texted it to me just randomly out of the blue, he was like, hey, I have lyrics. Here they are. He goes, you know, met you on the rails of a byway station, shotgun lead in the heel of your boots. Thick as thieves on the same migration, might look different, but I'm the same as you. And that's all he sent me. And he was
there
like,
was no music. There
no
was
music.
no nothing. Nothing existed, but it meshed with what the song was.
and I sat with that for a little bit and I was like, no, these are actually super cool. And I think I added that second portion of the verse when he sent it to me. And I told the guys about it, like when it was going on, where I was like, hey, I have this little piece. Adam wrote this. I've been expanding on it. Do we have anything for this? And it kind of fell off to the side. And then randomly, Jason is like, hey, I have this riff. Take a listen to this. What do you guys think? And I was like, I have words for this.
Rails of a
Yeah. I was like, I have lyrics for this.
Lead in the heel of your boots.
And
it just worked.
it's wild how, you know, you kind of hoard and stockpile all of these little tiny bits of songs. It's happened recently with some of the new ones that we're working on now, where someone will come up with something or whatever, and you just have all of these things hoarded away.
For those of you who are writers and musicians, the important thing is to not lose those bits and pieces. Record them somewhere.
Oh, yes.
Save them somewhere.
Please.
Get yourself a database, because
For the love of
otherwise
God.
you're lost and you'll never remember what you did.
100% accurate.
The other thing about this song that's super cool is, like, when you brought that riff, Jason, like, I was like, this doesn't feel like we can just play straight against it. Like, we got to do something different. So, like, the bass and the drum feel is what's basically called a second line feel. It's a New Orleans kind of like bop, 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 bop. So, like, that's not normal to put into a quote unquote country song or a rock song, but it fits this song so well. It fits the vibe of the song so well. And then, you know, when we get to like the solo part where you, like you said, we kind of get to a bit of a roar and then it drops back down. Then we kind of switch out of that into kind of more of a normal feel, but it's still kind of embedded in what we're doing. And it's just like,
it's my favorite song to play live.
plus I got to play trumpet, which is fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
fun.
you stole my thunder. Damn it, you. Literally, I was going to just say the next thing I was going to say is the coolest freaking part of my night when we play that song live is having my quote unquote rhythm guitar be a trumpet.
Yeah.
And play a solo over a trumpet rhythm. It's freaking badass.
Well, don't forget me on the ride cymbal.
You play the ride.
And I kill it every night.
I know you are.
That's one of the things we adapted is like, I can't play, because like we have a song called Black, which I play trumpet on, but that doesn't have, I'm able to just do that with 2 feet and a hand. But for Where the Wind Blows, I really need both hands. So Devon steps up to the drum kit and turns into my right hand and plays the ride cymbal for me while I play trumpet over the guitar solo, which is, if you're not paying attention, it might go by you if you're at a show, but pay attention because that's a pretty freaking cool moment.
That's pretty awesome. Pretty freaking rad.
Yeah, and so it's actually going to be my next question is like, I love that part of the show where it's like you guys are just kind of like rocking out. And so was that part of the show, like, was that always there when it came to the recording too? Or like, how was that adapted for a live show?
It's straight off the record, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't think we do anything different live than what's on the record. It just, that's what happened. And the funny part is, as musicians that are listening know, that trumpet wasn't there when we recorded the guitar solo.
Right.
We came in with the trumpet later and overdubbed it, and like, it just worked. And then we tried to figure out how to do it live. And that's kind of the funky part about recording a record, like we said about One and Done. Like, that's really hard with all the vocals. With this one, we were like, okay, how are we going to make the trumpet work with what we have to do? And so Devon has to play the ride.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one,
Very versatile musicians around here.
It's musical chairs up there.
So
so the next one is Someday Soon.
Oh, take my hand. We can walk this road together. Through calm or stormy weather, we'll make it in the end. Oh, my friend. Even if we stumble or falter, we'll lean on each other through the endless turns
one of those where it's a bit of a come down from the first two songs, and it's actually Devon, for you, it's a very steady vocal in a sense, and so, but I remember, because I've been with you guys on the road before, and I remember being crew come back from Wabasha, and you're saying how Jason had sent you this riff or this melody, and the word just came out from you. Can you talk about that a little more?
Yeah. So a lot of the time when we're getting ready for a project, or basically just any random time of the day, 2 a.m., 4 in the afternoon, Jason will send out guitar riffs or melodies, things that he's written. And he always just fires them off, and he goes, hey, take a listen. Let me know what you think. If you hate it, you hate it. If you like it, you like it. This could be something. I don't know. And he just sends it out. That one, he called it, what did you call it? It was like Eagles Fly or something like that.
I thought I called it Someday Soon.
Oh, no, you did. You called, I'm thinking
Yeah.
of Don't Look Down.
Yeah,
no, this
Don't
was,
Look Down
he
was
called
Eagles
it.
Fly originally.
Yeah.
That's what I titled it. But Someday Soon, I titled it Someday Soon.
Yeah, he
and
titled
sent
it
to
Someday
you,
Soon.
and
I woke up at like 9 in the morning, and I woke up because he always sends it when he's awake in his studio at like 3 in the morning. So you always just wake up to like a surprise from Jason. He's like, hey, new song. What do you think? It's like Christmas every morning. But he sent it to me, and I pulled it up and I listened to it. And I think I sent back the completely finished song
that
in
afternoon.
maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, it was not long.
No,
And that's what stuck. I mean, really, there was very little reworking on that.
Remind me if I'm misremembering this, but I think we actually used
My guitar tracks.
your original guitar tracks and her original vocal.
Yep.
Not her
Oh no, maybe
original
not all of
vocal.
it. Oh no, you're right. You're right. But
No,
we used the original guitar.
we used the original guitar. I was adamant about using that original vocal on the demo, and I was like, "This is so good. This is so good. Let's just leave it as it is and mix it. Put some drums on it. Blah blah blah." We ended up using the original guitar track.
Yep.
That I did, but you sang it, and you were right. You sang it even better than the demo, and the demo was killer. Like
Yeah.
I was on a pulpit going, no,
Don't
we don't
change it."
need to re-record these vocals. And
I'm a big fan of re-recording vocals. I
Yeah.
end up doing that every single time where everyone looks at me and they're like, it's fine, don't touch it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
yeah, you were right. You were right.
Yes,
But
I was. Say it again,
was
Jason. Say it again.
No, you were right.
Not a chance.
We have it recorded now,
I also
so
think
I can
Someday
make that my
Soon
ringtone.
is
I can also edit.
That is so rude of
before
you.
he sends it off. I also think Someday Soon is kind of another notch in our belt of like, just like we can write killer ballads too. You know, we can write a rock song, but we can write a ballad.
Every record needs a love song, man. Right?
You're right.
I mean, you have to have one on a record.
This is kind of a love song to ourselves, to be honest.
No, it really is. And like this song in particular, it's one that's really, really started. Like I always loved this song, but it's the more we play it and the more we have it out, the more it resonates with me, I think. And I think I wrote this, I can't even remember how long ago I wrote this, but we didn't pull it back out of the archives until right before we started talking about this project.
Yep.
And that was right after all of the stuff with 2020, all of the, you know, all of the trials of finding a bass player, all of that, you know, the bus broke down and we were all just bumming and we found this song and it was like a letter from myself. To my future self from years ago where I heard it and I was like, oh my God, I needed to listen to these lyrics right now
Honestly,
in this moment.
I think we wrote that song at the beginning of 2019 and recorded it in 2024 or 2023. So it sat on the shelf for a while.
And it was literally right after just 4 years of getting just knocked down over and over and over again. And we pulled that out because we were listening to songs in here in the studio where we all came over together and we were like, let's listen to all of the songs that we have, and let's pick the songs that
talking about what we were going to put on this project. Yeah.
Let's all pick our favorites. Everyone will write down their favorites, and Someday Soon was on everybody's list. But when you pulled it up and you played it for the first time, I literally sat on the couch right here, and I got emotional listening to it, where I was like, okay,
I think everybody can relate to that point. Everybody been through the ringer, but that's also kind of a love letter to all musicians. Like, this is not an easy business to be in.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, especially for us. Like Jason said, we're an indie band. You know, nobody's handing us a checkbook. And by the way, when they hand you a checkbook, it's just a loan
with horseshit terms.
You do have to pay that back.
So
yeah.
So it's just like, you know, I just really look at that song as kind of a, like you said, it's an affirmation to ourselves. Like, we're on the path. We just keep it going. We're doing a good thing.
And I think that can apply to so many different people too.
For whatever they're doing, you know?
Well, one kind of shout we can give is to one of your biggest fans, Wendy. She loves this song.
Wendy.
She does.
She does. She was one of the first people that saw Jason and I play it at Bigwood Brewery just for an acoustic show. And it was right after we got together and wrote it for the first time. And she was going to school at the time and she was about to graduate. And she came up to me after the show crying and gave me a hug. And she said, "Thank you for writing this song." So then I started crying and then we were just both crying, but it's nice.
So then we were just
both crying together. No, but it's always the biggest affirmation that you can get when there's a song that you write that resonates with someone like that in the audience. It makes all of the hard work that you put into it worth it when you realize that someone got to feel that song with you.
And that song has the ability to adapt itself to whatever is going on in someone's life. Graduating from school, overcoming something, doing something. Like, I've been working at this for a long time, and it's gonna get better. I'm gonna get there. Like, everybody's been through that.
Yep.
Yeah, and like, you know, the more I kept listening to it, like, for some reason, like it seemed almost like when you were recording and performing it, it's like, you know, whether it was conscious or unconscious, you know, it was okay, let's everyone play like they're a little bit tired. And like, because that also kind of reminded me of like the Scar Tissue by Red Hot Chili Peppers, their music video for that. It just reminded me of that kind of rawness of like, you've been through it all, and it's just, yeah.
But then by the end, it changes.
Yeah.
And you're happy to be there, and you're happy to be playing it. The vibe changes as the song goes on. You're good at listening.
So next one is Up on the Mountain.
She made it to the summit through wheel and broken nails. But where is there to go when there's nothing left to scale? Lord, forgive her, she'll never be content. And if the devil ever saw her, he'd kiss her and repent. Up on the mountain, you can hear her scream, darling. Did you get there on your own? Did you get there on your own? Hear her carried on the evening breeze. Did you want to live alone? Oh, the world keeps turning, it never stops, and are you lonely? Lonely at the top. Lonely at the top. Lonely at the top.
I've interviewed Devon a lot for this song for a previous another interview series I do. The song is kind of about like what happens when you reach the top, like what's next. Can you kind of talk about this concept, and also like, you know, this one you wrote in the third person, is that a different kind of songwriting approach for you?
Honestly, I didn't even really think about that too much. And a lot of the time, Jason can attest, the way I write lyrics, I call it storybooking, where I have to start at the beginning of the story and I've got to tell it all the way through. So I never really have a clear, like super clear picture of what I'm writing about until I start really getting into it. And when I was writing this song, one of the things that, I mean, again, 2020-ish time period here, things were a little darker. And the question that I had was, all right, so let's say we make it, we're famous. We're, you know, playing sold out stadiums. we've been reaching and climbing and working and grinding for this for so many years. What happens when you just get there? Do you just sit on the chair and go, did it? Or does that feeling ever go away of like needing to keep moving, keep growing, keep adapting? Is there ever a point where you stop and go, all right, I made it? Like when you get to the top of the mountain, what happens next? Where do you
lonely?
go? Are you lonely? Did you, lose people on the trek up? Did you lose yourself getting up there?
Does every band member all of a sudden have their own tour bus and you don't talk to each other after you get off the stage? Because that stuff happens too.
Yeah. Did you get all the way up to the top of the mountain and realize that, might not have been worth it? You're tired. I don't know. I don't know. And that thought, there's so much push and drive in this industry where it's just got to keep climbing, got to keep working, got to keep grinding, got to get to the top, got to make it to the top, got to be the best. And it's like, okay, everyone in the music industry is always at this point, always in this mindset. What happens when you do make it? When you're the Taylor Swift or the,
I don't think we've ever had this in depth of a conversation about the concept of this song, but it's exactly how I interpret this song, is just like, be careful about how you go about doing it. Mm-hmm. Don't step on people. Don't be an asshole. We've run into some of those, but we've also run into a lot of people that are much further along than us that have been the most gracious and kind. So that's what this song is for me. It's like a reminder to just be the gracious and kind people on the way to the top.
Yeah.
Whether you get to the top or not, just, treat people like people.
And this is one that I wrote all of the lyrics out in one sitting, and I just texted the entire block of text that I had written to Jason and Jamie, and I was like, I wrote a song. I will not be taking notes. Thank you. And it's finished. It's finished. It's done. And I wrote it. Matt and I had gone up to the cabin. And we got there, we always leave late, so we get there late. And we went to bed, and I was like, he's going to think I'm cheating on him. Because I would write like 2 lyrics at a time, and then I would put my phone down, and I would try to go to bed, and I would keep thinking, and I would keep thinking. And then finally I would just sit up, and I would type more, and I was like, he's going to think I'm texting someone in the middle of the night, and I don't want him to know about it because I'm like hiding the phone under the pillow a little bit so I'm not waking him up with the light. And I wrote out the entire song from beginning to end. And I literally went to Jamie where she was like, can we tweak this? I was like, no, I will not be taking comments. Thank you. I was like, no change, no notes. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
You guys also made a really cool music video for it. Mm-hmm. What was that like?
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
That was insane.
Shooting that one was a rogue
operation
that we went on in St. Well, I'm not going to say what it is because they'll probably still come.
Undisclosed.
It might have been a state park, and
allegedly
they might still want to arrest us.
Allegedly,
yeah, but we were on the cliffs of the St. Croix River, and I got to do a guitar solo with my foot hanging over the cliff and a drone filming it. It was amazing. It was scary as hell.
That was wild. I had to be barefoot the entire time we were there. I don't know what I was thinking. I knew we were going to cliffs and that I'd be standing on them, but I was like, we're filming a music video. I'll bring heels. And we got there, and literally everyone turned and looked at me, and they went, Devon, take your shoes off. And I get asked all the time where people are like, Devon, that scene at the beginning of the music video when you're running, why did you go barefoot? Was that what does that mean? What is this like artistically? I was like, no, it meant I wasn't allowed to wear my shoes.
I was being yelled at.
Because you're a fall risk.
Because I'm a fall risk, and people were worried about me.
The other part of that video, like I always watch videos and go, well, that guy doesn't have a guitar cord in his guitar. Like, this is fake. Of course they're fake as a video. You'll notice I don't have a drum kit. It's because you can't hump a drum kit into an alleged state park.
Y'all still probably shouldn't hump it either.
No. So, well, people that know what humping a drum kit in means. But there's also, like Devon said, there's a shot of her running we all had to do the running, but she's the only one in the video running.
You're welcome. I wasn't going to be by myself.
Well, look at us and look at her. I mean, what do you want to look at?
So
There was that shot also. They were using a drone, but like 3 of the 4 or 5 takes of me running down that path, the drone hit the tree.
I remember that.
I'd get halfway down and be like, never mind, hold on, stop. We gotta start over.
Yeah.
Drone's in the tree again.
And so one question I have for you, Jason, is so you're on the cliff with your guitar. Are you more nervous or are you more scared for yourself or your guitar?
That one's been with you a while.
That one's been with me through a lot of stuff, man. I mean, she's sitting right there. Look at how
pretty.
She's very beat up, road rash. So, yeah, losing that guitar would have been, but I would have gone with it. Let's just put it that way. If she just broke a strap or something and started falling to her death, I'd try to get it. Yeah. It was honestly pretty scary. I'm literally afraid of heights. I'm not good with heights. Like, that's my phobia, so kind of inching up to the edge of that cliff in cowboy boots was
Oh my God.
You did a good job of not showing your phobia.
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, but it was cool. It was awesome. I thought we worked with Rory on that, and man, he did a great job.
And so the last song on the record is One and Done. And I think this is the first one I heard from the new music. Can you talk about this song and did you know that this would be the first one that would kick off the new music?
Honestly, I did not expect One and Done to be what it was.
Agreed.
That one was a wild experience because we worked on that in rehearsal for a while, a hot minute. And
Complicated song.
that B section area, we'll call it a B section, it really, we had no idea what we were going to do with it. And we ended up getting into the studio and we were like, well, we're going to have to just fitfo. We're going to have to figure it out. And this is going to be interesting. And Andrew helped us round out that section so much. But I will never forget doing the vocals down here where it was just you and Matt in the studio. And we were working on writing that B section, that bridge there. And I had no lyrics, so I was writing it as I was singing it. And what ended up going on the track in the take, it was off the cuff, just completely. And I was out in the live room area just by myself, and you guys were in here. So I have no idea what's going on in the studio, and it's just dead silent. And I can see you guys talking, and you got on the talk back, Jason, and you just went, do that again. And then you just sat back. I had no feedback. I had no idea if any part of what I did was good or who liked it or what. And you guys gave me absolutely nothing to go off of until I came back in.
Well, yeah, we didn't want to influence you. You were doing a good job.
So the one part of the song I really like is not the because I fucking hate you part. Even that's a good part too.
Thank you.
But it's that part where it's like it's not a rap, but you're talking faster. Can you talk about, was that a hard part to nail down?
It was.
That's the part she just said she
that was the
ad-libbed.
part. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know the song structure.
No.
So
I mean, that song, to your point, Devon, we were talking about bringing in somebody, doing collaboration, trying to figure out, we wanted to do kind of a quote unquote rap thing, but not a rap thing. That's what she literally in the moment came up with. And it's awesome.
So can you guys talk about the track order a little bit? Was there any kind of rhyme or reason to how you sequence the tracks at all?
I can tell you I've heard stories about this from different producers and stuff, how artists toil over track, what the track order is on a record. We don't do that.
Oh no.
I mean, we haven't done that since day one. We get in a meeting. It's like, hey, what if we do this? Should we do this? How this would go right after this? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, we like that. Okay, wait. Let's move this one up here, this one down there, this one over there. Yeah. You guys all agree? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Done. Boom.
It's because we're a live band, so we do it like a set list.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly right. But we've heard stories from producers about artists I won't name, but like just
Hours and hours.
days
Agonizing
over what the track order should be on a record. And
Well, you remember it used to be track 4 was the number 1 single. Like that was like the rule, and like that was the whole like in the early 90s. And
yep. And then there was that time where track number 1 had to be the first single because nobody's going to listen to track number 2 if they don't like track number 1. So there's no formula. I mean, honestly,
I've never even thought about it until you just mentioned it, where you were like, yeah, other people struggle with this. That hasn't even registered to me. I know I've heard stories, but I'm like,
I remember when we did Sunrise, we came up with that track order on the way back from Nashville in Old Red in the truck. And honestly, I think it was probably an hour and 15-minute conversation or whatever. And
we came up with the album title and the song order in that one conversation.
Yep. And it was done. I don't know.
All right.
People should maybe just calm down.
So it kind of asked you this one before, but like, since so much time has passed since you've finished these songs and everything, what are your thoughts on the songs now that, you're kind of looking at the next project now?
Well, I mean, the nice part for us is we get to go play them live. So, I mean, for us, maybe they're not new anymore, but we still get to see people's reactions to them because they're new for people. So that's kind of, like them still refreshing themselves in our own minds. But I honestly, like for everything that I've done with this band, I look back on all of it. I'm really super proud of it. Like there's nothing that we've done where I go, ooh, that was a little off, or I'm not fully happy with that. Like all the songwriting, it's all really, really good. So being able to play anything from our catalog at any time is really fun. And even a song from, like Jason said, from Sunrise that we recorded in 2016 and released in 2017, they're still fun. Some of the time, like we don't play Hangman all the time, but we'll all of a sudden go like, hey, maybe we should put Hangman in this show.
Or Suicide Cell.
Or something like that's fun. It's a lot of fun to revisit it.
I definitely agree. And I would say for me, like one thing I don't know. I don't even really know how to say it. It really like just brought to attention that if you look back at all of our old music, I'm not even going to say old, but previous albums, you can see the natural progression of how we got from point A to point B, where every album just feels like the next natural progression from where we had just come from musically. And it's really heartening to see that, no, we're doing what we do. We're on the right track because this is just this album in a different font, in a different color. We're refining and we're, sharpening everything a little bit more, and everything's a little bit crisper, a little bit cleaner, or our sound is a little bit more developed. But it feels like a natural flow getting from each album into the next one, even listening through them from beginning to end and just pulling that up and seeing how that transitioned. You can really see just how more interwoven we've become, where all the pieces are still the same, but we're a little bit more tightly meshed now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think that the one thing that I don't think we ever think of is not making ourselves happy first with what we write. It's like, if we're going to put it out into the world for other people to listen to, we have to be happy with it and enjoy it. You know what I mean? We're not just chasing, we're not trend chasers, or we're not anything like that. It's like, no, we write what we write unabashedly. It's like, this is the next thing. This is what we're writing now. This is what we're doing. And we got to love it first before we share it.
And because we're an indie band, we don't have room for fluff.
Right.
Everything's got to be from us at 100% all the time.
Yep.
Because it costs money to do this, if you didn't know.
Are you sure? So, so this question here is actually for Devon here. Oh. So I've known you for about 7 years now.
Yeah.
And it's been really cool kind of watching you grow in a sense of like, I remember St. Martin. It was you guys were playing. I was with the guys for the weekend. It was you guys were playing that senior citizen thing or whatever, that gathering that with the storm.
Oh yeah.
And so I remember it was the break, and you had two friends come up with a little girl and say that, oh, our little girl really likes seeing Devon up there because she doesn't get to see women rock out in that position a lot. So, I mean, I guess the question I have is like, I've seen that time and time again from you. Can you kind of talk about your role or kind of growing or like navigating your role as essentially like a maybe intentional or unintentional role model for younger female artists at the same time when you do, like the gigs like a Sturgis or whatever, does that allow you to kind of let loose a little bit?
I've always seen stage performance in general as a way to let loose, where I say this a lot and I don't think people will ever really get it, but there's almost a point where when I get on stage, I black out. I say, I've never met stage Devon. I hear she's lovely and people seem to enjoy her, but I get off stage and I'll look at the guys after a show and I'll be like, what did I say? Did I sound stupid? Like, what did you think? And people give me little like scripts and things to read and things to say during a show. Sometimes I nail it, and sometimes I'm not present enough to be like, oh, remember, you've got this script on the stage of stuff you have to say. And I think that a lot of that is owed to the fact that I started playing on stage when I was so young that I didn't have the age or the knowledge to be embarrassed about how I presented myself, how I was dancing, how I was saying things, like the stupid shit that I say on stage sometimes. I was so young, I didn't know well enough to be self-conscious of myself. And so now when I get on stage, I don't think about it at all. I do think about it when I get off stage, when I get off and I'm like, hold on, did I just make an absolute ass of myself? And I think that one of the reasons why we resonate with so many of those like younger girls, things like that, is especially nowadays, everything is so polished and so curated. And there are so many levels that, especially young girls, but young musicians in general have to like present themselves in a certain way and talk a certain way and announce their videos, announce this stuff with a certain lens. And even just your average little kid, everything's got filters on it. Everything's got editing and trimming and, AI fixing things for you. And I think that it's very freeing. I give people the permission to just be hot messes, I think, is what I'm trying to get at. Or I'm definitely someone who's very unabashedly themselves, lovably obnoxious on some levels. And it gives people in the audience permission to feel that way too.
I was just going to say that. I mean, like, I think it's really just being yourself. Mm-hmm. That's really what Devon does. That's what we all try to do. She's really good at it though. So, and it is cool to look out in the crowd and all of a sudden, if you're playing, sometimes when we're on tour, we'll do like a connection gig where we're doing a community music in the park thing on a Thursday night or something, and there's 50 8 to 12-year-old girls just gobsmacked at what's going on. That's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
And another thing that's really, really cool that I think kind of works really well too is the fact that like there are some are like bands where it's like they really drive home that, okay, this is a female fronted band, all this stuff. But for you, it's just this band is kind of like you're the lead singer because that's the best role you can play in that band. And I think it's just kind of, that's just what it is. Like, there's no question about it.
Dude, that's a great question, because remember when I joined, this is 10 years ago, I was probably in the band for maybe 6 months or something. And I said, we really should change the name of this band. It should just be Devon Worley. It should just be Devon Worley. And then I was in the band for a year and I went, oh no, I get it. It's just, to your point, that's exactly what it is. It's like, it's different. I don't know how to explain it, but I originally came in and I'm like, why aren't we just saying Devon Worley and just, it's a solo artist and let's just do that. Not. And Devon's like, nope, I have a band. I'm not a solo person.
Yeah.
But it took me 6 months to 9 months to go, oh, okay, I get it.
I was not built for solo work.
Were you the same?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there was times where I was like, just call this.
Just cut off the band part.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I refuse.
No, we're aware. We're totally aware that you refuse. Yeah.
No, sir.
So I know we got to wrap up here soon. Thank you guys for your time. It's been awesome talking with you. Where can we find you guys on social media?
Everywhere. We're on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. We've got our website, devonworley.com. You can find us on Spotify, on Amazon Music. You can find
Apple
Music,
Pandora,
SoundCloud,
Reverb Nation.
Yeah.
MySpace.
Bands in town. MySpace. Are we still working on that?
We're working on that. I've got a Mean Words with Friends streak going. You can find me on that. I don't know. I get back into it every now and then.
And then when can we be expecting some new music? I think you guys are literally working right now on it. So we're
literally recording the second you leave. We're recording.
Yeah, it's time. I mean, it's time for us. I mean, I know we've been releasing singles, but we want to keep releasing singles and
keep things fresh.
And honestly, that's good for our souls too. Is to always have something new that we can put out there and that we can play live and that hopefully will connect with some people. You never know where your next one's going to come from, right? And so, you just got to keep throwing them out there and see if something resonates with people. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I would say to your question, the vaguest answer we can give is 2026. The more specific answer we can give is probably first half 2026 is our goal. But we are in the throes of it right now. The summer tours come together really well. And so we have that also in the back of our mind. And then the recording project, which is kind of the world that we live in, to have to live in both worlds. But that's our hope. New music in 2026, and then, hopefully full release of Burn the Dawn. And then slow drip of whatever the next project's going to be called.
Yep.
As we go through 2026, and we'll take it from there. We're kind of playing this one a little bit by ear, but
you'll know when we know.
You'll hear it. It'll be out there.
All right. So two last questions for you guys. One is, if you could do one thing to improve the Minnesota music scene, what would you do?
It's so hard. I mean, I'll just say first, coming from the grind, our kind of our old position, or my old position, was just like, man, we work so much. It's so hard to go see people. But now, to Jason's point, where we're kind of doing the thing where we go tour and then we come home. We go tour, then we come home. And in the winter, we kind of do what we're doing now, which is record a new album. So just go out there and support bands,
Musicians need to support each other. There's no growth or development in a music scene unless the other musicians are playing against each other. If you're not using each other to level up and better yourself and encourage each other and support each other's shows, because if no one's coming out to one person's show, they're not coming out to anybody's shows.
And if your quote unquote competition has some success or gets a song on the radio or whatever, guess what? All of a sudden, all eyes turn to Minnesota, and they're going, okay, I got to pick the next thing that's coming out of here. So someone else's success is not your failure. It could be your leg up to some success for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that 100%. Your original question was what could better,
Yeah,
you know,
like
the music scene. I think that honestly, people need to come together a little bit. There, you know, the world is a kind of a crazy, insane place right now, and there's a lot of, you know, not nice things happening, and I don't know if this is a world-class pivot on your question or not, but I think, you know, with everything going on, I think that the solace that you have is being able to go find your favorite band in the record store, on vinyl, on turntable, on Spotify, or go see them live and escape this shit for just a couple hours. I think that, you know, I think probably all the musicians would agree, you know,
It's about
take a break
community.
from social media, take a break from the division, and
Just go enjoy some music.
go
man.
enjoy some music, man. And I think, you know, a rising tide floats all boats, and, you know, the more people go back to spend less time worrying about what their neighbor thinks or whatever, or what the guy across the street is doing, the better. Just go listen to some music. It change your life.
And then kind of on that question as well. So last one I have is 3 local bands everyone should check out.
Bullets and Butterflies.
Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah, they're great.
Absolutely.
I
One
love
of my
those
favorite
guys.
new bands they're newer-ish.
Yeah, definitely some of my favorite people.
Some
just
of my
in general.
favorite people too. Yep. I'll let you guys answer the rest.
I mean, that's
You stole my first answer. That's so rude of you.
I mean, I honestly, there's so many good bands right now. I think the best part, one of the things that I really encourage people to do is listen to like the Homegrown Show on Bob FM on Sunday nights at 5 o'clock. Also, in case you don't have time at 5 o'clock, you can go to their website and listen to past episodes featuring the Devon Worley Band.
Hey,
But go there, explore, find something new. Like, that's the thing. Like, go do something different. Like, just don't listen to top 40 radio all day long. It's not good for your brain.
agreed.
All right, well,
What
guys.
about you, Devon?
Oh yeah,
Bullets and butterflies. Jason stole it from me. I want that on the record.
All right, Andy, I'm going to throw one back at you. What is a band that you think everybody should listen to?
well, there's this band called the Devon Worley Band. See, okay, so it is the to be honest, the 2 people I always say check out is honestly you guys, because we can pull back a little bit. Like, I've known you guys for 7 years now, and you're some of my best friends. But also Karina Kern.
Yeah.
I think she is she is one of like
I've heard a lot about her, actually.
she is like she has a song she put out called Dream That Came True, and to me it's like the perfectly simple love song.
Yeah.
It's just great, and like, so that's why I always say it's you guys, and it's Karina Kern.
Awesome.
So guys, I want to thank you so much for doing this. It's been a long time coming. Hi Jamie, as she just came at the end here. But yeah. So I just want to say, if you go to a show, you can grab the Burn the Dawn album right now. Just at a show right now. Other than that, there's singles right now: Light It Up and Burn It Down, Where the Wind Blows, Someday Soon, Up on the Mountain are all out on streaming right now. Go get it, guys. This is awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andy.
And that's it for this episode of the Melodic Noise Insider podcast. I want to thank Devon, Grant, Jason, and Jamie of the Devon Worley Band for making this happen, and a very special thank you to Jason for allowing us to use his studio. You can get their Burn the Dawn record currently at one of their live shows. Just go to devonworley.com to check out those dates. Their singles Light It Up, Up on the Mountain, Someday Soon, and Where the Wind Blows are available now for streaming. This episode was edited by me, and I also want to thank our producer Paul Thorson and editor-in-chief Andrew Parizo. Be sure to follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Just type in Melodic Noise Media and you should find us. You can also join our Patreon to help keep the ship afloat. We should be adding some new content soon. You can find me mainly on Instagram at AndySmileyJ. Thank you for listening, and until next time, I'm Andy Ellis. We are also very aware of the struggles that have been going on in the community, so stay safe, support your community, and support local music. Take care, everyone.
Feel the charge that's in the air tonight. That storm's about to hit. No time for condemnation. I am that conversation. Cultivated a reputation for being the one thing this place was missing.